Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Justice, he is Terror Master, and we are back with our worst case and best case predictions, this time for the streets of Battle City. Yesterday you saw our worst case prediction for Yugimoto. Today you will be seeing our best case scenario. Let's jump into it, Terror Master, if you were ready.
I am, in fact, ready.
Hey,
The theme we went with, you might notice, is big earthy things, for the most part.
Big earthy things was actually the main focal point of our discussion, yes.
Alpha, the Electro Magnet Warrior. So, people like Magnet Warriors, right? However, the Magnet Warriors, which let's get this out of the way, we've reprinted the original three, okay? Are not good. The original three Magnet Warriors, they're not.
What? But their effects are so great.
Yeah, these effects like Alpha, Beta, and Gamma nailed this one. What an effect.
Listen, that effect is so good, they printed it on all of them.
Oh, did they? Yes, they did. Exactly the same one. I love Yugioh. All right. Yeah, so we're gonna give you the souped up Magnet Warriors here to kind of make the deck playable. And that is the best case scenario. You take a deck that people like and like playing and make it good. What a concept.
Wow.
Nobody's ever thought of anything like this. Alright, we got Alpha, the Electro Magnet Warrior, if it's normal or special. So, magnets do special, we know they do that. You can add a level 8 Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to your hand. Oh yeah, Valkyrian's also reprinted just for that. For that effect. Yep. We're not giving you Berserkion, stop asking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're not trying to go too crazy here.
Yeah. It's only once per turn, hard once per turn. And then, to make things better, during your opponent's turn, you contribute it and spell summon level 4 Magnet Warrior monster from your deck. So it's thinning, and then it's more deck thinning on your opponent's turn. So I think it's pretty good.
Hell yes. Agreed.
Cool.
Alright, next we have Beta, the Electromagnet Warrior. If it's normal or special, you can add a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to your hand, except another one of itself. It's once per turn. And just like Alpha, during your opponent's turn, you contribute it special summon a level 4 lower, or level 4, sorry, Magnet Warrior monster from your deck. So again, more deck thinning, plus, getting resources. And if you've looked ahead, which shame on you, but if you have, you'll notice that on summon, grabbing another thing to keep going with your resources is a recurring theme here.
Yes it is. Because Delta does that too. Except it, fills up your graveyard, not your hand. But
I wasn't talking about Delta.
oh, okay. Well, graveyard's a resource too.
That is true. This is Yugioh. That is true.
Yeah, exactly. That's why everyone plays Banisher. Take that away. Disgusting. Alright, but that's a reprint. We don't worry about that. Also, sticking to the theme of magnets, surely, we have a Electro Magnetic Turtle. Your opponent's battle phase. You can banish from your graveyard. End the battle phase. That's right. Not just negate one attack. You end the entire battle phase.
All of it.
All of it. You need more protection that isn't susceptible to Night Beam? Here you go. Subscribe.
Alright, we are back on Magnet Warriors. We have Epsilon, the Magnet Warrior. If it's normal or special, you can send a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to the graveyard, except Epsilon, which Delta does, but also then its name becomes the name of the sent monster until the end phase. Then you can special summon a Magnet Warrior or Magna Warrior monster from your graveyard with a different name than the cards you control.
Yes.
So it's kind of neat because it means that you can't just special the one that you just sent, because now Epsilon gets that name.
Yes.
So it makes you think a little bit.
Yep.
I know, thinking in speed duels.
But it's also cool because like you can send something, and then if you had like Alpha or Beta in your graveyard already, you special summon those, and you can get their search effects again, which is cool.
Yep.
Pretty cool. Also, you can, if you really wanted to, you can turn Epsilon into like Gamma and summon Beta, and then if you have Alpha, you could actually summon Valkyrian the way Konami intended. No, not Konami. Takahashi intended. Konami intends nothing. Konami's silly. Don't worry about them. Also, is it me or does this card look really cool?
Yeah, it's a good design.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Gamma, the Electro Magnet Warrior, another target for you to special summon. with your other effects. And when it is normal or special summon, you special summon level 4 Lower Magnet Warrior from your hand. Look at the swarming capability. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Just like what we talked about with Epsilon, right? If you use Epsilon to summon Gamma, now you can drop another one from your hand, and then that one will also generate you a resource. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Agreed.
And then on top of all that, you tribute it in your opponent's turn, special summon level 4 Lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck. So they do fill up your graveyard quickly so that you can use effects like Epsilon. So that's also pretty cool.
Yep. And speaking of using things from your graveyard, banish them for Gigantes.
Yep.
You just special summon banishing one Earth monster from your graveyard, which you'll have plenty of opportunity to do. It's a 1900, which is just okay, but if it's destroyed battle and sent to the graveyard, it's Heavy Storm.
Yep. I just noticed something was weirdly out of order. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I don't know how those two got swapped, but don't worry about it.
Yeah, so Gigantes is actually pretty neat. The 1900 beater, like easy to summon, and Heavy Storms if your opponent runs it over.
Yeah.
And which is like even more relevant in Speed Duel since they can't run it over and then set something in main phase 2 because we don't have one of those.
Exactly. Look, Rock Spirit is not good enough to play.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like, okay, we need to power creep that card, right? And Gigantes might be. Especially if you have these electromagnetic warriors, which do fill the graveyard faster to fuel it. So, pretty good. Speaking of earth monsters that fuel the graveyard, the OG gadgets. They won't fill the graveyard by their own effect, but your opponent has to kill them to win the game, theoretically. So, green gadget searches for red gadget, which searches for yellow gadget.
Yep.
These are classic cards Little Yugi did play in like the latter end the end seasons of original DM anime. So there you go. It's not exactly in Battle City, but it doesn't have to be because we don't need to restrict ourselves to that. The Magnet Warriors are from Battle City. That's good enough.
I will also take this opportunity to share something that someone told me 8,000 years ago, approximately, when these cards were new.
Okay.
If you want to remember what searches what, just think of a traffic light. Red goes to yellow, yellow goes to green, and then green goes to red.
Oh yeah, cool.
It's fun little fun fact. There you
go. Okay, there you go. So you don't even have to memorize it. You just have to know what a traffic light looks like, and you'll be good. All right.
We got some reprints. We got a Valkyrian reprint. We got an Alpha, Beta, Gamma reprint. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
And then we got Summon Skull. Yes. Why? Because it's time. That's why.
It's well past time.
This card is not included because we think it'll be good. It surely will not be good. But it is an iconic Yugi monster. Why we don't have it yet is anyone's guess. So yeah, let's just, get it.
Also, Yugi played it in Battle City, I think, exactly once.
I would also not be mad if this was like a secret rare in the box, actually.
Exactly.
I would not be mad if a secret rare in Summon Skull.
I would not either. I think there's a lot of people who would think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, there you go. It would also be like, immediately be like our second best Archfiend monster. Which is funny, because the best Archfiend monster is Summon Skull Retrain.
Yeah.
Okay. Fisher, because it's time. There isn't much else to say. Spot removal, give it to me. Give it out to Banisher and all of other beatdowns, ridiculous monsters that shouldn't stick on the field for too long because they're pathetic little weenie monsters that don't do anything except attack. Okay.
Alright, cool. Alright, we actually have a new spell to support our magnets. So Magnet Induction says if you control a Magnet Warrior monster's original level is 4 or lower, special summon a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck with a different name than the cards you control, and for the rest of the turn after it resolves, Magnet Warrior and Magna Warrior monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effect. Yes. So it's kind of neat. It has kind of like the similar thing with Epsilon, where it has to be a different name than anything you control, not just, something you target or whatever. It has to be a completely different name. But again, we have all our Electromagnet Warriors that have effects when they are special summoned. So again, just continues the theme of swarming, getting effects, doing fun stuff.
Yeah, I do want to point out the synergy at the end here, where when you activate it, your monsters can't be destroyed by battle. The card effect thing is good, sure, for stuff like offerings and widespread and all that. But the Destroy by Battle part is also relevant because we're reprinting Magnetic Field. And even if we didn't, you had Magnetic Field in our card pool. Which, you know, you have 2 Magnet Warriors now after you've activated this. And then both of them have the ability to go in and use this bounce effect. Like whichever one you choose to attack with, you use that with. So that's pretty good. And then obviously if you have the field up, you have three Magnet Warriors at that point, right? Because you got normal summon, induction, field spell. So that's really good, like really nice actual swarm potential within the ability to bounce an opponent's monster.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Alright.
Yeah, go ahead.
This
I think it's a reprint. Take this.
This is Retsu Armor. Because it's time. I don't know how long we're supposed to sit on Widespread Ruin as our only battle phase destruction trap, but it's time for us to say, you know what? I get to pick which monster I'm going to activate this on, and that is the monster that dies. I don't care how many attack points it has.
Yeah.
So it's the slightest power creep like ever on Widespread Ruin, especially the way Speed Duels is played right now. But it's probably good enough. We don't want to hop to Deep Prison, so here we are.
Yeah. And then last but not least, we have Trap Hole, because it is time to trigger the people who think that this card is way too good for Speed Duel.
Exactly. I do also want to give a quick shout out that Fisher and Trap Hole were both in the original starter deck Yugi, so it is relevant. Sakuretsu, just don't worry about it. It's okay.
Yeah, honestly, Trap Hole is like probably good for our format.
It is. Yeah. It's probably good.
It's Trap Hole, man. It's the Trap Hole that started all the Trap Holes.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. You want to talk about beatdown mirrors having to like think about what to do, right? Like summoning or not summoning the monster to play around Trap Hole, like not summoning your best monster to play around Trap Hole. Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
and that is actually something funny, right? Like it's more relevant to say to play around Trap Hole than it is to say to play around Floodgate. Funny enough.
Yep. It is. Limited 3 in a month after it comes out. Okay. Alright. Do you have any final thoughts on our boy Yugi's deck before we go?
I like what we did here. It's nothing like super insane because we didn't give him Berserkion.
Right.
But fun cards with neat, effects and archetypes that I think people would actually want to play, even if it's not, the strongest thing out there. But giving these cards makes magnets at least, somewhat playable. Gives Yugi a thing to do that people would want to play. So, I like it.
Yep. Yeah. And, there's always the concern of like, Banisher still disrupts a lot of this graveyard interaction. But at the same time, half of your deck isn't even really about graveyard interaction if you build like magnets. Half of it is just about like resource generation.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still outvalue like a Banisher beatdown deck. Is kind of how I'm visualizing it. So it does provide power creep to our beatdown format without going overboard, because the gadgets also provide the constant once per turn value.
Yeah.
So you would outvalue, in theory, decks like that if you draw even like remotely well.
Right. Yeah, pretty good.
All right, take us out.
Cool. Yeah, so that'll do it for us for today. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about this potential Yugi deck. Would you be excited for this? Are there any other cards you would want to see from iconic Battle City Yugioh, Yugi era stuff? But yeah, let us know. I'm going to end this video while I can still get words out of my mouth. So until next time, as always, my friends, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, good luck in all of your games, and we will see you soon.